today with he was discussing the whole idea with retail traders and the whole momentum trade kind of thing that's going on, and how stuff like ANF can happen pretty easily when you've got literally thousands of traders all jumping in and out based upon what's in Reddit.
Yeah. Did you just say Reddit?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't really sit and frequent that place. I used to a long time ago. I was trying to understand how it all worked when it first came out, but I don't really follow it too much. They must have been all over it, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Well, I don't really subscribe to Reddit or use Reddit myself either. He was just discussing it as one of the many things that are out there that young traders are using, and they're using it en masse to do the trading, and it's causing huge volatility swings in individual stock prices. The GameStop and Hood and several others.
Yeah, the Reddit mob used to move AMC, GameStop,
yep,
KOSS, the speaker company.
Yep.
Hey, let me ask you: Are you because I'm only seeing one viewer. That might be you on YouTube. That might be you. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Okay. I didn't relog into YouTube, so if
no, that's right. No, I didn't give you the YouTube link. That's right. You're not signed in with YouTube. You're signed in with the private link. So it's not you. Yep, that's not you. Okay, so Banana Clips just showed up.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, let me say hello right here. Okay, I see what can happen. I just posted that hello on YouTube, but it goes on to here too. Okay.
Yeah.
What's happening, Banana? Can you hear? You can hear, I'm sure, right, Banana? Not sure if you can hear us. Test 1, 2. Hey, Banana, if you can hear, can you just give like a thumbs up or like number 1 or something? Because I'm on live here with my friend Frank, and I'm wondering. Okay, good. Happy Saturday to you too, man. Glad you could make it. And you're, I think, the first one in. I don't know how many people are going to show up, but if no one else shows up, then we're just going to have a little private get together, and we'll have some fun. So with that said, Banana, what's going on in your trading life? If you don't mind, share a little bit about what you do. Do you are you a premium seller? Are you are you a buy calls and buy puts type of person? You try to ride momentum. What is your style? Maybe I can probably invite him. All right. Hey, you know what? Would you like to come on? Let me see if I can do that. Let me see if I can do that. I guessed. So, Banana, if you want to join in and you can come on screen with us, so we can hear you too, click that, and I think that'll let you in. Covered calls and cash secured puts. Okay. If you don't want to jump on the StreamYard, that's fine too. It's up to you. If you're not prepared for something like that, if you're a little shy, whatever, that's fine. I just figured. Okay, yeah, take your time. Take your time. In the meantime, me and Frank are going to start talking about, I guess, some stocks. Frank, what's on your watch list these days? You're always into something groovy and maybe cutting edge. This SMR, which was a monster for you, I know you got out probably before that big move, but you made some money in that, right?
Yeah, I did. I got out way too early.
Okay, no worries. It's pulling back now. It might be an entry point.
Yeah. I like it. I like it long term. I'm a firm believer in when you've got something that's moved quickly and a bunch. It's time to take some profits off the table, and then get back in. When you can.
No doubt. I I was doing research, right, and I found this stock. This stock I had found. I was doing some research on some option activity, and I looked at the chart, and it was over. It was over here, right? The price was right here. It was the right a day before the move here.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it in my friend's account quickly, some calls, and I wanted to just look into it further for us in the room, because he wants me to take some chances in his account. So I put it right in his account, no question. And I wanted to get a chance to look at it, right? And then I think it was that day, Friday, I think whatever that day was, I don't know what it was, but that day in the after hours, the news came out about the nuclear stocks getting some type of, something to do with Trump. And they shot up in the post market. And then this was the next day or two, boom, so it was too late for us to get in the room. But this one is in the same, I believe it's in the same category as SMR.
Mm-hmm.
And was it Oak? Is it Oak Low?
Yeah.
Oak. Yeah. So these stocks, look, they've had their nice run up. Now they're pulling back. This is when we maybe want to look to get in. Maybe, this is a good time to maybe get into a position where leap, buy a leap, sell a leap, something like that. Let's take a quick look at some at leaps on this. Which one were we just looking at? NNE.
NNE, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we go to January, and it's not even really it's a leap. It's 230 days. May, it's 7 months. It's 321. Yeah. So if we went to, I mean, depends on how deep we want to go in the money. I mean, you go 80 delta, it's going to cost about 950. But then you got to say to yourself, how much is this going to cost for 100 shares?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. No. I mean, this is probably going to cost about 1,500. Let me see.
Hey, Arthur.
Arthur, hello, my friend. Charts. So we were looking at NNE 2 January, and to buy 100 shares of this thing, I had to go into a different section. 100 shares of this in a margin account is $3,000. Yeah, so I don't get. I guess you can't really get this thing.
Yeah, it's margin is you're not going to get it.
Going to get it any cheaper. Yeah, unless Thinkorswim. You know what? Thinkorswim might be down right now. Not down. It's down for some back end things. I'm noticing things don't look a little bit right with the numbers.
Yeah, could be. I know
as
they
far
do
as account stuff.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff over the weekend. So.
Yeah, you're right. They do. So Arthur, we're just talking about some of these nuclear related stocks like NNE. I was telling Frank, I put one of my friends into the calls on that thing right before it made its move. I wanted to get us into it in the room, but it made its move too fast. And then Frank was in SMR during this move up here. He got out, and then it kept going up here. Now it's pulling back. So maybe some of these nuclear stocks we can get on a pullback as close to this trend line as we can. That might be a good entry point. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Arthur, do you have a chart you want to throw out there for me, and we'll pull it up, take a quick look at it? By the way, if I'm shouting, Frank, let me know. I want to make sure you guys can hear me. Am I too loud?
No, you're loud, but it's fine. It's not overpowering.
All right. Because in the past I've had a problem with my mic, so I kind of started yelling, and now I'll just talk low. Okay. So Arthur, if you have the uranium stocks, I think UU is one of them.
Yep. Yeah, I'm still holding that one. That went up and it's dropped back down now.
You're in that, right, Frank?
Yeah, I'm holding that one. Yeah.
It looks like it's getting perky. It's getting perky.
Yeah.
This thing doesn't want to link for me here.
Yeah, the interesting thing on UUU is they're not only in uranium, but they're also looking to move heavily into rare earths in the near term, which just adds some credibility. I mean, there's two big pushes the Trump administration's going after, and one is uranium and the other is rare earths.
Gotcha. Yeah, there is something wrong with Thinkorswim right now because I can't even pull up options data. I mean, I can pull up this type of stuff, but I can't pull up previous from Friday. So they're doing something in the back end,
Uh,
unfortunately. But what I can do is this. Are you able to see what I'm looking at now, Frank? Or you still see my Thinkorswim?
Still seeing Thinkorswim.
Okay, because what I'm going to try to do then is bring something else into the equation. Call open interest. What if I tried to bring this on now? Okay, let's add. What's up there, Mr. Banana?
How's it going, Uzi?
Going all right, man. Going all right. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you.
Thank you. And who's this, Frank?
Oh, this is my friend Frank. He's part of my Discord. Arthur in the chat there. He's part of my Discord.
Awesome. Pleasure
So
to meet
yeah,
you,
man.
Frank.
Same here, Banana.
Yeah, awesome. Nice to meet you, man. I'm just trying to pull something up. Give me 1 sec. I'm trying to present. Yeah, present something. Trying to present something. Stop the screen. Image file. Video file. PDF. Slides. No. Stop screen. Stop screen.
There you go. Now we just got the three of us on the screen.
Yeah, and then I go to share my screen. Wait, I go to share my screen. Yeah, that's what I got to do. I got to pick the screen I wanted to show. Okay. So here, we're talking about UUU for a moment. Right now, I'm looking at the strikes where the highest open interest is. We're looking at the 6s, the 7s, and then it drops down as we head towards the 8s. So some of the the larger players have picked up some of the 6s and the 7s. And that makes sense because that's right about where it's going to run into some. Let me change what I'm sharing here. That's about where it's going to run into some. Where is it now? I got to add another one. I'm new to this whole thing, so just give me a second.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, the screen. So Banana, you do. You say covered calls. Is that what you like to do?
Yeah, so I've been, investing in for a while. My first stock was the Meta IPO, so it's been a while. Was focusing on long term holds, kind of swing trades, and then really in the last, I'd say year and a half, I've got into like options, premium selling, covered calls, cash secured puts.
Okay.
Now that I'm getting more comfortable with it, I've been doing credit spreads, iron condors, just running the gamut, trying to, learn everything. I found you on the Wheelers stream.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're getting more strategies under your belt. You're definitely dabbling in more, more different choices of positions, and that's good because look, that should be everyone's journey. I say to some people that I talk to sometimes, you really should. Just selling puts and stuff is good. You could do that on, like, say, like a side hustle. But if you really want to get, more skilled, you need to learn more of the different strategies. And really, they're not that hard. It's just a combination of calls and puts, really, and how they put together and when they expire. So whether it's a calendar or whether it's an iron condor, how you have protection on the upside, protection on the downside. You're still dealing with just calls and puts. So. But when you get more skilled and stuff, you can begin putting on more trades. And sometimes, you might find one that really you never thought about that really resonates with you or that you really do well with. And then that can be your bread and butter. But in the beginning, though, covered calls are really good. And of course, cash secured puts. I mean, those are the two easiest to understand, I think.
Right.
And easiest to manage, too. That's the most important thing. Sometimes the more complicated the strategy, the only thing that really does change is, the management in case something goes against, if the price starts to go against you. That's where it can get a little bit more involved and difficult, scary. But yeah.
you can read all about all these different option strategies, but you really got to put one on to see how it reacts to the market. In my experience, that's the best way I've learned. Just put one on, and manage your risk and then see how it reacts. So
Oh yeah.
for the last month, I've been doing 0 DTE iron flies on the SPX, and so I've been trying to find different strikes, different widths. I'll put one on at the open and usually try to take it off with 25% profit, and just kind of like formulating a strategy. So far it's been profitable, but it definitely needs to be like optimized, or just looking for like a daily strategy too. Just another tool in the toolbox, like you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for 0 DTE SPX. The only thing with SPX, I mean, maybe you know this, maybe you don't. I'm just going to say it. That is an animal. That is definitely an animal. That's the wildest animal in the jungle to try to trade, especially on 0 DTE. Now you can do it. People do it, but you might make 3, 4, 5 in a row winners. It's the one that you don't close when you probably should, and then it gets away, and then that kind of wipes out maybe a bunch of winners. But just be careful and know that it can move quick and hard and fast against you. As long as you're doing something that's got protection on it, though, like an iron condor, like you said, your max loss going in, and you just have to be able to be okay with that.
Right.
Are you opening them early in the day or late in the day?
I've been trying to open them early, like not right at the open, but maybe around like 9:40, 10 minutes or so later.
Okay.
The ones I've opened later in the day, I think I've had less success. I've been building a spreadsheet so I can kind of collect the data. I wanted to get like a month or two like under my belt so I could really analyze the data and see, which ones were better and which ones were worse. And then a small correction. So it's XSP. So smaller risk, similar product. But yeah, the XSP has been good to learn on because the value of the SPX, where you can, any trade can be a big win or a big loss.
Yeah, XSP it's a little smaller, a little bit less of an animal, and that's actually a good idea. Trade, try it with that one, because you can always go from there. I don't know if it's Think or Swim now. Well, yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be Think or Swim. Let me just say.
What's up, fellas? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Arthur, how are you?
Good. How are y'all?
Good, hanging in there, man. Let me just make sure.
What's your name?
Brian.
Brian. Arthur. Nice to meet you, man.
You too, Arthur.
I'm just trying to get my charts up, and right now, okay, good. So Think or Swim is back up. Okay, good. Because for a second there, I couldn't get charts.
Yeah, it looked a little, I think maybe slow loading.
They are doing work, like you said, Frank. Because look, I can pull up some stuff, but I can't pull up everything.
Yeah. The other thing is they may have some of their servers down, so they're the servers that are up may be doing double duty.
Yep, 100%. All right, so let's take a look at hymns for Arthur. Arthur and I were talking about this one during the week. And Arthur, if you recall what I was saying, let me get my drawing tool because that'll make it a lot better. You remember I was saying that we could maybe have this cup start to form on the right side. And it looks like you're getting that. Yeah. Give me 1 second for my tool to show up here. It looks like you're getting what I was saying, man. You might be getting this cup, and that would be good for you because I know you're in this position now. I know we talked about it at length, but you needed it to come back a little bit more, though, right? Don't you? Or no?
Yeah, no. I mean that was a covered call. Look, I'm
got away from you, right?
Yeah, I'm not really too worried about that move at this point. I'm kind of wondering, now if this is really going to be a cup and handle, I want to get them run up on this thing. So like a put credit spread or something like that. I mean, what if I was going to just bet the other way on it?
Yeah, well, you might want to reverse. You might look so in your position where you have that covered call. This might be a case where you might want to close that covered call, pay the price. You could do two things, right? You could let your shares leave. You could let your shares get taken away at the price that you're going to get taken away at the covered call strike, and just get long from this point forward because it looks like we're going to have a breakout
Yeah,
What
I
about
mean, but
cup and handle?
I have those shares are January 16th of 2026. So I mean, that's a volatile stock. So I mean, even if it does break out, I mean, yeah, I'm underwater on them, but I mean, that's not hurting me by any means.
No, no, but here's what I'm thinking too. It might be cheaper to buy them back now rather than waiting, let's say 3 to 4, maybe 5 months, hoping it pulls back. And if it doesn't, then you won't really be able to close them out for unless you want to pay a lot more money. That's the thing. Price will go up if the price of the stock goes up. So that covered call cheaper now to close.
And then I just decide at that time, do I just get rid of the shares? I collect my profit on it, and I just didn't get as much as I want, and I don't take any type of loss.
Right. Right. Well, right. Now, if you let the shares go okay, so let's just say you don't close them out now. You just get long from this point forward. You could sell some puts, some cash secured puts, whatever you want to do. Put credit spreads, even buy options, calls. Longer term dated calls. You don't want to get too short because you don't know if it's gonna, fake out and then go sideways for another month or two. It could go sideways for 2 months and either way, theta at your premium that you just paid. So you would want to go further out with some strikes and deal with that covered call in January when you get closer. And if you lose the shares at that price, you'll lose the shares at that price. But at least you'll be able to make money from this point going forward with a new position.
Yeah, I'm really just trying to go looking forward at a new position. If this thing, I mean, this stock, is a volatile stock, it can pop pretty easily. It's already demonstrated that, I don't know. It is news. It is news prevalent. It moves on news, and I don't know. The thing could run to 80 really quick.
It could. I mean, once it breaks out of this handle that is forming, and that's a perfect cup and handle.
Yeah,
I mean,
and a lot of analysis are seeing the same chart and seeing the same cup and handle pattern. So I mean, this isn't like it's not. A lot of people know this already.
Yep. And it's good. The RSI is coming back down a little bit. RSI was a little bit overbought here for maybe a week or two. So it's calmed back down. And even the RSI is doing a cup and handle, right? So when you get the stock price doing a cup and handle, and you get the RSI doing a cup and handle, that kind of gives you even more conviction to the upside on this one.
So then if it looks like a couple of handle and a lot of people just start buying calls, buying stocks, buying everything, that's going to drive the price up. It's going to run it up even higher. I mean, it's going to run it up, right?
The chart says so. Yeah, the chart says it's going higher for sure. I just can't pull up options to see where they. Yeah, yes, Thinkorswim options are down right now for some reason. Let me just take a look where I just looked before though, and look at where some of the gamma walls are and where the call option, call open interest sits. Let me ask you guys, if I drag this over here like this, can you see this now? Something a new screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So then here's HIMS. And the open interest is very, very high over here at the 60 level. 60, 65-ish, and even more so in the high 70s. So yeah, that 80, you just threw out 80 off the top of your head. There's some high call interest, open interest there, and a whole lot of 60s.
Yeah, I mean 80. I mean so I mean I've been following this stock for a long, long time. It's just but it's super volatile. It's but I don't know. It's just something that's on my radar.
Same thing happened to me in HIMS. I was in the same position as you. Where are your strikes, Arthur?
I mean, I got 200 shares. I got a 45 call. And I got shares at 32 average costs. And I was being very aggressive in the last couple of months, and I was just learning covered calls and cash secured puts and was way too aggressive, and that thing just ran on to me. And then I moved because I was aggressive at like 33, then I went to 35, and then I had to move it all the way to January 16 without taking debits.
Yeah.
What is your strike? What are you looking at yours?
So right now I have 500 shares, and I have 2 short calls at it's a 72 strike expiring in 2 weeks. So
Gotcha.
if it doesn't rip, those are good. But the last time I got caught was during the last spike. It was in February, and
Yes.
I think I had 60 something strikes. And I didn't want to miss I got a little greedy. I didn't want to miss the run up. So I bought them back for, I think I took like a $2,000 hit, and then we know what happened. It ended up dipping, and
Yeah.
I probably could have let them go, just let them sit there, and I would have been fine. So I spent the next few months kind of just grinding, scalping covered calls, and I eventually made all that back and got myself in a good position. So I'm up quite a bit on it now, but
Awesome.
yeah, for a little bit it wasn't looking good. So I totally understand the position you're in. It can be tricky.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is the second time I missed the first run up, and then I bought more shares at the low spot, and then I was like, oh, let me go sell covered calls again, and then I got caught again, and I'm like, yep, I learned my lesson twice. Third time is not going to happen.
Sometimes it takes a couple of times before you really learn. But listen, better late than never, because that's how you stay in the game.
Yeah.
Banana, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I'd like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'd like your opinion. So to avoid that from keep happening, I've been selling calls just a lot closer because, HIMS it's one of those stocks that can just rip. So to avoid getting caught, I've been, instead of like a normal, like 40, 30 days out, I've been doing it like 2 weeks. So in the event that it does rip, it would have to really make a substantial move for him to get called away. So I'm kind of moving them closer in to avoid that. Just wondering your thoughts on that strategy.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend sometimes even more so weekly.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do bi-weekly, I would do call credit spreads, because if it does run through your short strike, you can get long right at the next strike. You're going to lose. Let's say you sell a dollar wide call credit spread. You're going to lose the shares at let's say 25, 26. You're going to lose that 25, but you'll get back long again at 26. So you're going to get bumped out. You'll lose a point, but at least you're back in, and you're still going to be able to sell a call credit spread and bring in some credit.
Okay.
That's one interesting way to do it. Or if you have, let's say you have 500 shares, just sell 3 covered calls. Don't sell covered calls in all your whole position, because this way, if it runs through, you'll still have at least 200 of your 500 working for you. And then you can always try to get yourself back in, or you can roll the three of those covered calls up and out if you had to.
Yeah, I think with a stock like this where you can take the big jumps, I think doing a zebra where you're basically buying 2 calls and selling a put, it gives you significant upside potential, and you're getting it at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways to do it, but one thing is for sure: once a stock starts to move up, if you have shares like this one might be one, a case where you just don't sell covered calls for a bit. Let it start to, because you can get run over and you'll regret it. I've done it myself a couple times already. I don't want to even do it, and it frustrates you, because you waited for it to start to come to life, and then it comes to life and roars. So, this might be the one where you kind of wait and just let price appreciate for you instead of trying to make the money on the covered calls. It's really a fine line. How many shares do you have?
You talking to me or Andre?
What's that?
Oh, I have 500.
So you got 500. So then, if you could sell 2 covered calls,
that's
let
exactly
the other 300 run wild. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly.
Yeah. I feel like you're bringing in a little something, but you're not going to get mauled, because if this thing takes off on some good news, this thing could gap 5-10 points easily in a day, and then there goes your covered call strike, and then you're fighting to roll it up and out every week, and sometimes you can try as hard as you can, and price never comes back for you. So
yeah, Palantir is the greatest example of that for every trader, I think.
Yeah, a lot of guys are kicking themselves in the butt for selling covered calls on this thing. I mean, I hate to admit it, man. I was watching this thing when it couldn't get out of the 20s, and I said, I looked
Yeah.
away. I said, forget this thing. And now look at it. These stocks, sometimes you can't let them get away. That's why, some of these stocks, I mean, we're in Lemonade, Celsius, they're going to have their day, and they're not going to look back either.
Oh yeah, I agree completely.
Again, here goes my charts. I could always switch it over. You know what? Let me switch it over to.
Man, Netflix has some new live streaming event tonight that's going on right now.
Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix
They
is going to
compete-
be. I mean, Netflix is a powerhouse, but they're too high. They got to come down off that price at some point, right?
Oh, Netflix. Yeah, Netflix just started to come back a little bit. It got hit a little bit this one day here. Yeah, I'll tell you, this is the kind of thing though. We sell we sell naked calls or call credit spreads on this thing, and it'll just keep going up against us. It's crazy. If we buy calls though, it'll surely go down on us, right? Right. This is the kind of thing you want to go long this thing, it'll fall right in your lap, and you sell call credit spreads or naked calls, you're gonna get run over. But this is so high. This has gotta.
It's so high. It's so high. I literally the other day I was like, if I had to short one stock in the stock market, it'd be Netflix.
Yeah, this is just. I mean, but again, it's
But like, how do you? They're a monster. They're a powerhouse, and they're doing lots of things though.
Yeah, I mean the charts telling you that good things are going on at this company. The thing is what are they pricing in? Like, I'd love to know what they're pricing in, because right now they're pricing in perfection. I mean, this thing is just a rocket. Now, it did break trend. It broke trend as it broke here on this day here. My computer's all messed up. So it broke trend here on this day, and now it's going to fighting to try to get back above. If it can't get back above, okay, then we might have the case to say, okay, if it can't get back above here,
Comes back down to 1100.
it might start to do one of these, and then probably come down and try to test some levels of.
Yeah, 1100.
Yeah, about 1100.
Yeah, like you're saying right there.
1050, 1100.
Yep. And this could be the beginning of a top right here. You got a little bit of a shoulder here, a little bit of a monster head going on, and then it could roll over from here and then come back to earth and come back to about 1,000 to come back and test this breakout trend line. But yeah. Netflix is definitely making some crazy move, but it's a $1,200 stock. So with that one, you'd probably have to sell a call credit spread, and definitely give it some room to go, because if it starts to run up and gets through this trend line again, it's gonna really power up. I wanted to look at Lemonade for a quick second. We're in the room. We're in Lemonade. We've been in Lemonade for a bit. It's just starting to come back now, and it's looking real good. It's just getting into some major resistance areas, but I believe it's going to be able to break over that maybe in the next couple of weeks and try to test the upper range here about 37. We were in that one, and then Celsius is looking pretty good too. Now for this one we're long leaps and we're short a leap. So we have a double whammy going, and we've got about 125 deltas when you do it like that. So we've got, for every 1 point this stock moves, we're going to gain a point in that 1.25 points. So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
What's the short? So how do you structure that?
What's that?
So how do you structure that? You said there's what's a short? I guess I never heard of a short leap. Is that a call also, or? Okay,
so with leaps, just like regular calls and puts, you can buy them or you can sell them. So we sold. Let me look it up. We sold. We're in it. What are we in this thing for? Like about a month and a half now, maybe, Frank?
Something like that.
Yeah. We sold. Let me pull it up. I'm trying to pull it up on my other computer. Wow. Thinkorswim is down. I can't even pull it up. Can't even pull it up. I think we're short the 40 strike put And I think we're probably in March of 2026 because that's about 293 days away. Why can't? Yeah, I definitely can't see. I can't see anything on the back end of Thinkorswim. Very frustrating. But we sold a 40 strike leap put. If you guys, so if you have your trading platform open, Brian, maybe you want to pull it up in Celsius. So we sold a 40 strike leap put.
Yeah.
293 days out from now. But at the time, it was well over 300 days. I think we're in it for about 45 days by now. So we sold the 40 strike put because we're betting the price is going to be above 40 in a year. And we also bought a deep in the money strike call. I think it's 27.50. I think I went over this with you, Arthur. I think it's a 27.50 call. And then we sold it the naked put, cash secured put, 40 strike put. So what that did was when you sell puts, you're long delta, right? When you sell puts, you're long delta. And when you buy calls, you're a long delta. Now, the rate of decay, the theta decay on the put and the long deltas from the calls bring it to about a 1.25 delta. So 125 deltas running long.
Yeah.
So we're doubly long. In other words, when you sell a put, your betting price goes up, so that's a long.
Yeah.
Calls you long. So that's how we get the over 100 delta.
No, interesting. I've always heard of like basic leaps. I never heard of put leaps. So that's interesting.
Yeah. So let's say you think that Netflix is going to go down in a year, right? So let's say you think Netflix is going down in a year. You can buy a leap put on Netflix, over a year out. You can buy, let's say, an 1,100 strike put. You could buy 1,000 strike put. Wherever you think price is going to go to, you can buy that put, right?
Yeah.
Or if you don't think price is going to go below 1,000, you can sell that put. The problem is, though, is in a year, if price is at $750, then you're going to have to buy Netflix at 1,000.
Yeah.
Or roll it. So that's how that plays out. So you could you could do a lot. That's the beauty of options. I'll tell you this.
How much do you want to gamble?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's funny. It's funny because people think that if you trade options, you definitely are a lunatic gambler. Hey, DMAC, nice to have you here. But if you really look at it from the sophisticated side, options are the safest and most loss preventative way that you can trade if you can really control yourself, right, Frank? If you know how to control yourself, you can use options to really limit your risk.
Yeah.
I mean,
You got time on your side. I mean,
and you have time on your side.
And if you have cash to deploy, you can hedge. And it's like chess, I mean, you got to stay one step ahead.
Yep. 100%. DMAC, welcome aboard. What brings you here tonight? You have a chart you want to look at? Tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind. Are you a premium seller, or do you like to buy calls, buy puts? Are you a stock only guy? Stock and covered calls? What do you? You're short Netflix for like 2 weeks. Okay, good. So you've been short for 2 weeks, or you're looking for a short that's going to work out for you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, he said he's short for like 2 or 3
If you're short
weeks.
for 2 weeks, that means you're probably a little bit underwater. Right? Because if you're a little underwater, then maybe. But it depends on how you're short. If you're short shares, or if you're short call spreads.
Hey, Uzi, I actually got to take off. The girlfriend's coming home. We're going to get some dinner.
Okay,
But,
man.
I appreciate you having me on, and I'll hop on next time.
Great.
Whatever.
Nice having you, man. Nice to meet
Take care,
you.
Brian.
Nice meeting
Nice
you guys.
to put a face to your Twitter handle, and we'll see you again next time, bro.
Absolutely. Have a good night, gentlemen.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. In the meantime, let's take a look at what's another one? Hood. This one's got to come back to earth sooner or later too. But the problem with Hood is Hood might go into the S&P 500 this week, we're hearing, and of course that's going to be big for them. But is it already priced in? I would expect if they do that, if they get included, it's going to gap up. It's going to gap up Question is it going to do a gap? And then that's been waiting for that to happen, is it going to be one of those gap and craps where we come down on it, and then maybe do a little bit of a pullback like this because it catches everybody thinking it's going to go to 100, and it starts to pull back. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
I'm hoping it goes. I'm hoping it gaps up to about 80 at the peak.
Yeah, the problem is we're short in the room. We're short some calls.
Gotcha.
And we needed to come back. We don't need to come back a lot. We just needed to get into the high 50s. Unfortunately, we sold a strangle on it, and when price was down here, and then it just took off. It took off like a banshee. And but I do think if they don't, here's the thing. Here it is, right? If they go into the S&P 500, we probably go up, right? But how far do we go? And is it a sell the news event? If they do not go into the S&P 500 this week, I'm pretty sure we get that pullback.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people positioned for that S&P 500 move.
Yeah, because I think you had a lot of money coming in on the hopes of that as well. And if that doesn't happen, then a lot of that money gets taken out. And maybe some people take profits at that point, and you do get a decent, healthy pullback.
Yeah. And all we really need, because we've been selling a lot of premium on the puts. We've been selling cash secured puts to bring in extra premium. We're right now still short at the 53 and 54 levels. But if you add in the premiums we've been bringing in, we'll probably break even at about 55, 56, maybe 56 and a half. So we just need a pullback to the upper 57 area. And we should be able to get out and call it a day with the campaign and get the hell out of this thing before it breaks out. But we'll see what happens. Definitely not one I'm happy about, but you can't account for this type of you can't account for from about 46 to 66. I mean, 20 points. Come on, crazy.
Hey Jim, I think DMAC is looking for a hedge idea for Hood.
Oh, thank you. I didn't see that, Frank. Hard to say. They're doing all the right things.
What do you think? What do you think on that, Frank? You think it moves, gaps up, or you think it pulls back? What are you thinking? What it does?
I avoid Hood. I didn't get in on the trade.
Got it. Fair enough.
Uzi called it, and I said, "Nah, I'm gonna sit sidelines for this one."
Yeah, it's one of those volatile ones that, I mean, unfortunately, retail has such a play on HIMS, Hood, and all like those stocks. I mean, retail can make those stocks move. And, then when institutions buy them, then they really move hard.
Yeah, the problem it does have, I mean, we can see it. Maybe you guys should be able to see it, is it does have, it's got a double top in the making. Potentially, it's got a double top potentially in the making because if it doesn't,
it finally got back to where 2021 where isn't it like finally kind of even at the level since 2021 when they had that horrible scrutiny? Because that's like a key level, like that 2021, what they were doing, and then they turn off from GameStop.
Yeah,
like
I think
now is like. I don't know. They've made a lot of progress to get back to that level.
I think they were as high as $85 at that one point back in 2021. So 85 would be the all-time high.
Then do they test? Do you, if they get included in the S&P, do they test that like a play like that all the way that high, gap up that high?
Good. Yeah. Good. Depending on the action this week, I'm hoping for an early pullback in the market to get out of this thing and maybe another one what we're in and get it out of this thing before the end of the week. But it's got a huge, I mean, the weekly, this is the weekly we're looking at now. So on the weekly, it's got a huge cup and handle on the weekly that already takes into consideration those highs from a long time ago.
So you're okay, gotcha. This is the weekly, and you see a cup and handle already kind of forming. There's your handle, and
cup and here's the handle that it just formed.
So if it gets the news Monday, then that bitch is in perfect form just to shoot up.
Yep.
I don't know that I think that news doesn't it get added on the week like a Friday or something?
Oh, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I don't
I
know.
think they usually add them at the end of a week, but I could be wrong. I mean, actually, this was the end of a month, so we start a new month on Monday. I think they add them I think they add them on a Friday. I'm not sure. I have to research that. I think it's the end of the Friday, but if that is the case, that would be good for us in the position that we can maybe get a pullback early in the week, get the hell out of this thing before the news comes out, good or bad, and then reassess a trade. But I mean, it's definitely above previous weekly highs of about 60. So 60 is major. I mean, an area where 60 is pretty much major support. If it does start to come down, and that's why it hasn't been able to really get much lower than 60 here. I mean, the last couple of weeks, it's been fighting to hold above 60, and that makes sense now.
I mean, I've been accumulating hood as of recent. I just have a strong feeling that, I mean, I'm long hood anyways to begin with. That the younger generations, it's so easy for everyone to get on hood, and everyone I know has a hood account. And that guy Vlad and what they've done to remedy, it's just one of those. I don't know. I can't bet against them.
Yeah, I think they are. They have a big following for sure, and they're doing good things. There is a little bit of a chink in the chart here on the weekly, though. This is a little bit of an area that might want to come back and test on a pullback. So even though we have this nice little cup here, I wouldn't be surprised if it does a little bit of a Fibonacci pullback, and that would still be in a nice bullish trend if it comes back to the 38% retracement. And that 38 retracement gets us back to $53. So so that would be something that would be nice even the 23% retracement comes back to about 58. You guys hear that noise?
Yeah.
So I'm outside, and they got canals where I live, and that's a loud ass frog.
Oh, is that by you?
I'm gonna go inside for a little while.
Is that Louisiana frogs, bro?
Yeah, that's Louisiana frogs.
My goodness, I thought that was an echo in the chamber here.
No, it's like if you ever been to Hawaii, they got the coqui frogs that like make those loud noises, and yep, we got them here.
He sounds like he might want to eat you. Look out. So DMAC, let me ask you. I'm trying to get to your question. Are you looking for a hedge for hood for you, or are you talking about us talking about a hedge? We were talking about a hedge. What are you asking there so I can address that? You know what? There's a link if you want to join us on the panel, DMAC. If you look in the chat box, the comment section, there's a link there if you wanted to jump on with us, and you can be able to speak and we can hear you. It's up to you. Yeah, I'm considering. So it's either we're going to get out of it. If we don't get a pullback, if this thing stays in the 65, 64, 63 range, I'm going to have to put on a hedge. Yeah. Going to probably sell. It's going to use more buying power, but I'm going to probably sell a put pretty close to current pricing to get a nice premium and use that premium to buy calls. The link's not working. Let me create a new one. Maybe that one expired. Try that one. See if that works for you. But yeah, I'm gonna have to put a hedge on because if this thing goes to 80, it's gonna get ugly. I mean, I hate to sound negative, but I hope it doesn't get included, and I hope
Dude,
it drops to the 50s.
Look, I hope the motherfucker takes with you. I don't really. I mean, look. At the end of the day, I'm always. I don't care.
Hey, for you, it could be an area where you add more. See, that's the benefit. If it comes down, you get more because it's going to go
put it
up.
this way, my thesis is going to stay the same. If it comes down, I'm just going to go a little longer. But I know that there. I don't know. I don't know. I hope that it does go down. I hope it comes to 50. I hope it comes to 53, and I'm going to buy 100 shares of it.
Yeah, we don't want it to collapse. We just want it to pull back a little bit, bro. Come on down to the 50s, 55, 60, 55, 56, 57. We're good. And then make your move. And you know what? If it does pull back like that and we get out, I will definitely consider going. Might even buy a straddle. That would be a straddler, because if it doesn't go into the S&P, it's going to fall pretty hard, I think. And if it does go into the S&P, it's going to go up pretty big. That's a good case for a straddle. And I don't usually like straddles because you do need a big move, but this one could get a big move. But that's a gamble trade, It's
Yeah.
It's a gamble trade. All of our trades at some point can get challenged. Why put yourself in a challenged position to begin with? That's why I really don't like buying calls and puts and straddles. I will if we can finance it with another trade, to pay for the calls, and if we do like the zebras where you're getting the benefit of really owning 100 shares of stock, and you can sell premium against it with the covered calls. But I really don't like taking a directional move unless it's a free trade, getting it for free. DMAC, did you have any symbols you wanted to take a look at? What else are some that we've been looking at, Frank? This one. This one's coming down for us a little bit, Frank. We should be able to get out of this one maybe next week. We almost were able to close this one almost this past week. I was looking at, we were like about 30 cents away from being break even. It's definitely holding on to that 30 level though.
It's been pretty solid at that, just 30 to 31.
Yeah, but thank God it's not really running. It's not killing us. It's annoying. It's annoying. It's not killing us, but it's annoying. We might get a flush, although this is the third attempt to get through 30. We might get a little bit of a flush. If we get a little weakness next week in the markets, we should be able to get out of this CNQ, which really, again, it's not killing us, but it's just a nuisance. GE is a runaway. We got a short call credit spread on this one. But again, look at this. Look at this daily on this thing. Just, when it pulls back, it's going to get ugly for the longs.
Yeah.
I think we have a call credit spread expiring this week coming up. It's a 242, 245, I think. So we're not too far away on that one. I think CL, we have a naked call, 92 strike. This one's running into a little bit of overhead resistance. This one should come down a little bit. I'll be honest with you, some of these small ones, this market with all this tariff stuff is taking the energy right out of some of our nice spec plays like ARVN, although this one still looks constructive, trying to get through that 50-day moving average. R had a pullback, but a nice pullback into, still in the handle now, and it's still on support. Serve is still looking okay. This one is. This one looks like it's building out a nice. Let me remove all this stuff. Hard to see. So this one's got, it did gap down here on. I think Frank. This was when NVIDIA sold them, right? This was when NVIDIA got out of this freaking.
Yep.
What a nightmare.
Yep,
but
that was
a killer.
I was long at that point.
Yeah.
Were you really?
Oh yeah.
You weren't long with us though. You were long in your own.
I was before y'all. I was long, and then they sold, and then I was like, well, that was shitty.
We were in this thing, and we were laughing because we were like, this thing is going to 40 over here. It was supposed to go to 40 in a couple of days.
Yeah.
I was predicting 40. We were drinking champagne. And then we woke up one morning and NVIDIA sold their position.
Yeah.
And you're shaking your head. You're like, no, you got to be kidding me, right? You're kidding me. Like, no, you're kidding me. And it just fell out of look, burnt, crashed and burned.
Yeah.
But fast forward, 8 months and like 10,000 less hair. It's trying to come back, doing a nice little bit of cup. You got.
I love Serve. Yeah, I was like, this is it. This is the one. Then that news came out. I was like, well, that's wretched.
What a nightmare. Yeah. But they did it to a couple of companies at the same time. They did it to, I think they did it to Sound too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah,
was
I think it was Sound, maybe BBAI or something. Like they had a couple of them.
Yep, it was Sound. They did it to Sound too. Yep, Sound and Serve. Now, what's good though is Uber still owns a big chunk of them. Uber has a position in this company. Uber owns millions of shares.
Good.
Now, this one can fix itself. I'm not too happy about this one, Frank. ALMS. But the options are still in the open interest. So whoever put that big ass position on is still got them. And it's for July. I mean, this is I believe it's a medical company, so anything can happen. But not happy with this one. I'm going to be honest with you. Not happy with that one.
Can you look at DraftKings when you get a second?
Sure, man. So, I mean, this one is kind of in the middle of nowhere. You can't hear? Huh. Don't know why. Can you hear anybody? Can't hear you.
I don't see him.
Oh, you're backstage. Oh, wait, here he is. Hey, Daniel. Can't hear you.
There he is.
Gotcha, Dan. How you doing?
Backstage. Oh, wait, here he is.
He's got to close out the other thing on the other screen.
Gotcha, Dan. Now you're backstage. Oh, wait, here he is.
I think Dan, you got something running in the back there.
How's that?
Yep, there you go.
Better.
It happened to me when I got on.
Yeah, man. Welcome.
Now I
How
can
are you,
hear
Dan? Nice to have you, man. We're just taking a look at DKNG DraftKings here for Arthur. So,
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you. Welcome.
Yeah, I don't have any sound. I don't know what's going on. I can only hear you guys through YouTube.
That's weird.
See if he's muted.
We hear you though.
Look at on the bottom of it. I don't know.
Yeah, everything looks okay on his. Yeah, he's not muted here. But so what do you got going on, Frank? Arthur, you long?
No, I'm not anything on it. I'm just kind of watching it, and I think it's going to have a little gap up and run up, but I don't know.
Kind of in the middle of nowhere. Here, right? It's got no. I mean, this is something you could sell. I would sell strangles on this thing or iron condors. I don't see a long, and I don't see a short. To be honest, I think it's going to go sideways, like it's been doing, bouncing around, eating up premium on both sides.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I don't think you really have anything to do with this one until it starts to show a little bit more action. But if you wanted to bring in some premium, you could consider doing an iron condor. Now, you posted some iron condors in the Discord. What were you doing to build those? Were you just playing around trying to learn how they work and how they look on a profit loss chart?
Yeah, so I never was on TradingView before, and I kind of was just playing around with different ones and trying different strategies, and then looking at profit, win rate, stuff like that. Okay. What would trying to see what risk reward would be good. Like there was an AMD one that I put on that the risk reward was almost 1,600 for 500. It seems like that was a 3-to-1 risk reward that potentially looked like a good chart and a good trade to me, but I don't really know. I was just kind of dabbling with different things.
Now I have this is TradingView. Now you can use I don't s- where do you
So
you
go
can-
to the right. So go to the right at the right icon, like the all the way to the right of the page is an option button. Like, if you have you ever used like to the bottom right, go down, like over the doorbell, like not the doorbell. Go up one more, right there. Click that.
Yeah. That might be a paid version. Do you have a paid version?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was a free trial, but right now, I click that button and it brings up Jade Lizard, like all like Iron Condors, and you can just put your strategy right in there, and it pulls up everything, the option dates and everything. So that it was pretty cool, and I was just like, man, what is this? I've never used it before. So,
Yeah, you must have that trial because I'm not. I don't have the paid version of TradingView, and it's
Gotcha.
not coming up for me. But yeah, I mean, you can build them there. You can also build them in Thinkorswim, too, and you can see how it looks on the Analyze tab. But yeah, I guess I know if you have the paid version of TradingView, they have a lot of bells and whistles and stuff you can see. Good stuff. I don't know what the fees are, but with so much that you can do with Thinkorswim, I just don't see the justification for the cost. But if you're getting a free trial, then play around with it, and you can maybe until you pick some things up from there, and then you can move on over to Thinkorswim and use their side of it. Dan, DMAC, what type of a trader are you? What are you, a premium seller too, or are you what's your style? Oh, can you hear?
Let me know if it echoes because it's for some reason not working right.
Okay, we can hear you pretty well.
You can't hear me? Okay, I can't.
Let me know if it echoes because it's for some
There's a
reason not
delay
working
there.
right. Okay, we can hear you pretty well. You can't hear me? Okay, I can't. Let me know if it echoes.
Yeah, I don't know why that's happening to you.
Okay,
Yeah, mostly
we can hear you
premium.
pretty well.
Seller.
You can't hear me? Okay, I can't.
Okay.
I don't know why that's happening.
Yeah, that's going crazy.
Yeah, it's not working.
Yeah, that's okay.
You want to take your computer and throw it? All right, well,
I'll
good.
use the rest of it.
Yeah, that's okay. You want to take your computer and throw it.
Yeah. If I turn off the YouTube, it won't work. But yeah, I'm just gonna
Okay.
mute my mic.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. What's something we wanted to look at, Frank?
How about Joby or Archer? One of those.
Yeah, we did good in Archer. ACHR. We did good in Archer. Archer has had another nice little move up there. Now, did you hear the story that I told in the room the other day? I noticed that who was it? Put a Toyota. Toyota bought a big stake in Joby last week.
Yeah.
I saw it on my nightly research at the end of the night, and I wanted us to get into it the next day. And then I looked at the price. I looked at the chart, and then the news had come out that Toyota they bought like a couple of million shares of the stock.
Yeah, $250 million.
Yeah, when I say a couple of million, a couple of $100 million, and I mean that move is now kind of toast until it pulls back a little bit. But their competitor or sister stock, if you want to call it that, is Archer. And now that Toyota put an investment in Joby, I mean, what does that mean for Archer, right?
Well, it's interesting because I know quite a bit about these two companies, and Archer has a business model different than Joby. Joby's focused on primarily U.S. based flight between like major cities and airports and stuff. Where Archer, their first venture is going to be over in Saudi Arabia, so they're going international more so and focusing there, thinking that they're going to get easier permitting and licensing and all the stuff that needs to get approved before they can actually start doing flights. But I think Joby is actually going to be the first one to to move forward because they're targeting early 2026
Okay.
to be in operation.
Well, I think, and that's what's nice about what you like to do, Frank. You like to analyze and know all this stuff, which is good stuff. It looks like it's got a little bit of work to do now, Archer, to try to catch up and build out this next shoulder. If it's going to be a nice reversal head and shoulders here, a reverse head and shoulders bottom, I should say. Now, this one was a lot higher at one point, or no? Yeah, it was. This was at 19, almost 20 bucks, 19 bucks, let's call it. So it's got some upside to potential from 12. Well, it's 10 now, but this cupping area starts up at about 12. I mean, this if it can get back to the moving averages between the 50 and the 200, that would be a good time to start selling some puts on it. Maybe getting long again. Right now, it's trying to find its way. I don't think. I mean, we could sell puts now, but to get aggressive, I'd wait till it comes down to the 50-day, maybe 200-day.
Yeah, I think that these guys, Archer needs to have a couple of successful test flights of their aircraft. Joby has multiple tests that they've already done. Where Archer, I don't know whether they even have one at this point.
No kidding. I thought it was reversed. I thought Archer was further ahead for some reason.
No, I think they may be further ahead in their deals with the Saudi Arabian people, but I don't know that they're further ahead with the technology itself.
Gotcha. Yep. Gotcha. Well, we might have a trading range on our hands here with this one. I wonder what the premium is on this thing. Premium has been pretty good on Archer. It's not too bad for a small stock.
Mm-hmm.
I just closed out a 10 lot on it this week.
I'm sorry, you did what?
I said I just closed out a 10 lot at the 10
no.
strike. I was going to re-enter Friday, but I just waited. I think I'll probably sell some more Monday.
You had 10 strike puts sold?
Yeah, 10 lot on the Archer.
Okay.
It just expired Friday. I'm going to probably go back in, but target like maybe lower than 10 this time, maybe go to 9 or something.
Yeah, curious to know what the premium is on something like that. My Thinkorswim is down. Let me see if it came back up. If it can give me that information.
Let's see here.
Next week 10s, or even 9s, like you said. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, pulled back on Friday quite a bit. Pulled all the way down to just above 10.
Yeah, you got lucky on that expiration, right?
I had to close it early. I had to take $60 off the table, but it's fine. Made like 300 on it.
So the premium is the 9 strike is going to give you about 17 cents if this is accurate right now over the weekend, but 17 cents on a 9 strike.
For how far out?
1 week.
That's pretty good. I mean, that's over 2% return.
Yeah, but you're going to probably. So, what do you do? Do you do a 10 lot when you do it too? You do a 10 lot
on a small stock like that? Yeah,
okay.
10's comfortable.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Then that's not bad. That's $170, and if you got a sign or whatever, it's 1,000 shares, so you can wheel out of that. But yeah, I mean, you're right. When you look at the
I'm only
percentage,
holding 100 shares right now, so I have room for it.
Yeah, no, I agree. You're looking at about it's 1.8%. Yeah, $17. If you get 17 on a $900 stock, it's 1.8%. Not bad for a week. I'm sure it's certainly not bad for a week. Do that all day, every day, and you're going to be a rich man for sure. And then the 1 or 2 times when you get hit, you just wheel out of it if you can, as long as you don't get anything terrible that comes out and it goes to 5. But yeah,
I'm just looking on bar chart here, and the trades for Friday afternoon, they were all down low, like 8, 9 cents, 7 cents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is time and sales trades.
You pay for that, right, Frank, for bar chart?
Yeah.
Do you have the premium plus or just a regular?
Premium plus.
I was looking at it, I think yesterday, or thinking about it.
Yeah, they just sent out a deal. I signed up. My subscription doesn't expire till September, but they
Mhm.
offered 2 years for $368, so I figured I'd take it.
Yeah. Yeah, they got some neat stuff in there. There's just so many services. It's hard to know which one
Yeah, I
or which
agree.
ones to get. It's like you could get a lot of them.
Yeah.
There,
Well, I
there
use
are
this
so
one
many
almost every
offering
day.
this stuff now. But yeah,
The
bar
bar chart
chart's been
seems to
around a
be a
long
good
time.
value.
Yeah, bar chart's been around a long time. That's been around. Well, Frank, 20 years they've been around.
Yeah.
I would think. Stock charts and bar charts, they've been around a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, start charts. Yeah.
But a lot of that stuff you can get on Thinkorswim. Like my system seems to be back up on certain stocks. Archer, I can see some action from last week on Friday. Some October and July 11s were bought. Actually, the July 11s were sold. The October 11s were bought. They did buy some 9 puts for October, and they sold some 11.5 puts for June. So it's kind of all over the place. Some, and it's not even like it's big trades. It's not like it's more than, let's say, how many? This is 1,000 times $27,000 on one trade, 174 times 175,000 on another trade. I mean, nothing big that stood out, but Archer, I think it's got a following, and it's in the next, because you've got robotics now, you've got quantum, and then you're going to have these flying vehicles.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be the next wave of stuff coming around.
100%. Yeah. The whole drone thing is interesting. It's going to get
It
big.
is. And speaking of drones, I believe AV. I wanted to get into some drone stuff this year. I believe AV is drones. There's a couple of more like that are in the same sector. This doesn't look too bad. Kind of coming off of bouncing around. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's trying to get back over that 200-day and stay there. That would be good if it could. Yeah, I think drones could be big this year too. I got to go on look at. I forget the site I use to see the stocks in the same industry. I think it's Finviz. I got to look at that maybe over the weekend. Arthur, you've always got a chart on your mind. What do you want to look at?
I was thinking, Oscar.
Yeah, so that's another good name in the medical field. They've been suffering though. They can't get. There's a couple of guys on Twitter that have been talking about this thing going ballistic, and it hasn't happened yet. And they're pumping it. They're trying to pump it. It's got a problem. I don't know what the problem is, but technically, it can't get going. Now, this one might be the one though that turns out to be a $75 stock in a year. So we do got to keep our eyes on this one.
Yes.
It's because they do have good fundamentals. The chart just is not catching up to the fundamentals just yet. But it looks like it's trying to just close this gap in the next week or two, maybe or 3, and then maybe it can get constructive and start to move higher. Now, what we're in is Lemonade. I talked about it before. This one is in insurance. Like Oscar is medical insurance. Lemonade is insurance, but it's in renter's insurance, pet insurance. Now, pet insurance was big when it first came out, but it kind of I think people didn't really see the value of it, or there weren't enough people really spending money on pet insurance. But this one is trying to break out. Frank, you even said it. This on the TTM squeeze, this is breaking out of a TTM squeeze, and it broke this resistance trend line. Okay, and it's trying to make its way up into this heavily resistance area. But if it can get through it, it's going to be off to the races.
Yeah, it pushed up Friday afternoon late in the trading day while the markets were coming down too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure did.
What's the bullish thesis for Lemonade? I don't know much about it. I think it's like insurance or something.
Yeah, they do renters insurance. They do pet insurance. They do kind of like the insurances that a lot of other insurance companies don't really push. You follow me what I'm saying? So they have a niche.
Yeah.
There are competitors, but they I believe they're doing pretty well in there, and they had good earnings recently. They didn't get clobbered on their earnings. This is the 5-minute on This is the 5 minute on it.
Yeah, so it's 2015. They were around in 2015, and they're in New York. So I mean, I'm just betting on you follow the money. Insurance company, young company. It's going to take a while to actually be profitable. So one day they'll be a player, I feel.
Yeah, but look where Lemonade came from. It came from about $18. It went up to 53, and so it's doing its orderly pullback. A little bit long in the tooth. It would have been nice to see it curl up right around here instead, but something drove it down here. Maybe it wasn't earnings, whatever it was, whatever kind of news event came out, drove it down to create this trend line down below, and it's getting some energy now back up. The question is can it get through this resistance to the left? Hopefully it can, but I do like this one. Now Oscar, this one has a lot of eyes following it, and it just hasn't made that move yet.
You think they move? They move at the. If you think they would move? Lemonade and Oscar would move at the same time.
Yeah, they're in different fields. But from the long perspective now, zooming out, I mean, you really do got a beautiful pattern here. You really do. You got a beautiful cup right here, and then you got the handle forming. So once this thing does get going, it probably will do a Palantir type thing, because it's starting to gain the notoriety of like the Palantards and the Hood.
Yeah. And retail. Look, I mean, retail.
Yeah, this has a nice look, but you had to zoom out to 2021 to get this. So it's a long pattern. The benefit of that though is this long pattern is building up energy, and once this thing makes the move, the energy is going to send it. Really, the energy could really send this thing, running.
I like
Certainly back to all-time highs. So 40s for sure, because it looks like it's about 40. Yeah, about.
So I mean, at this point, you initiate some leaps into this. Some deep in the money leaps, or just in the money leaps?
If you got some money laying around, this would be a good time while it's in the handle, but you have to get out if it breaks down out of the handle. So
and I mean that's if we break April 7th lows again, So what was April 7th low from where it is right now?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that's let's just see.
Yeah, look at April 7th, and I don't think I don't know if anything's going to be breaking that April 7th low. I mean that wrecked the market.
April 7th. Even in that time frame, price didn't really collapse too bad. Like price actually stayed within this channel it's in right now.
Right. So you're not to break that low. I mean, I just don't think you're breaking. I don't think you're breaking that trend. I mean, I don't think you're lower.
If you have some disposable money you want to put to work, you could initiate let's say a leap at this point, and you could do a double dip. You could sell a put leap and buy a call leap. Maybe we'll price that out in the room this week and see what it comes out to be. June of next year, 383 days away. Maybe a 10.
How about January 15th of 2027?
Yeah, that's far out. So I'm seeing for my account, buying power effect, I can sell a 10 put. It'll use $100 in buying power. 10 put, $100 in buying power. It'll pay $235. So you got to buy the stock in a year at 10 if it falls below, but you're going to get $235, only use 100 in buying power. That's crazy. That's crazy premium. And then
that's pretty good.
If you go to buy a call, a deep in the money call, like a 90 delta, 80 delta, they're going to cost you about $550, $600, but you're buying a 10 strike call. So you need a, break even is somewhere around 15 or so. Break even is about 16. So before you really start to, again, unless price runs up. If it runs up fast, your call will go up. You could sell the call, but if it kind of just goes up, dribs and drabs, break even is at 16 and change.
But you're hoping in the course of that time it just does the run up and you get out and you take your profits and
Right.
run away.
Right. You don't need it to run fast. You just need it to move up within that year time frame. And all along the way, you could be selling weekly or bi-weekly covered calls to bring in premium and lower your cost basis on the shares even more. Not a bad gig there. And I like the fact that with all the hype and all the guys talking about it on Twitter, it hasn't done anything. So it's still available for sale, if you know what I'm saying. It's still there if you want to get in.
Yeah, medical got whopped.
What's that?
The medical got taken to the woodshed there. He got beat up pretty bad.
There's another one that
the move in UNH was pretty crazy.
I'm sorry, I missed that, Dan.
I said that move in UNH was very unexpected.
Yeah. Well, they're getting charged with all kind of like Medicare fraud, Medicaid fraud, and all that stuff, I think, right?
Yeah. Apparently.
I didn't want to go near this thing, but and still might not, but because there's no telling what's going to come out next.
He's like, I don't know. I might touch it at one point. I don't know. I'm gonna let the dust settle a little bit.
That's
I thought the dust had settled and right about just above his cursor there.
Yeah.
I sold some ratio puts.
That is a definition of a falling knife, and you don't try to catch it.
Yeah, this is bloody down here. What did you sell? You did a ratio spread, but
the dust had settled a little bit, and it was trending down. If you go up like to your little lines there, your white, like right in that area. I sold a couple of, or I sold a ratio spread, thinking I could make some money on a slow grind down, but it's United Health, it's pretty solid company. I'm surprised to see it that low. And then, how do you know that the CEO is going to peace out and say, hey, our sales are going to be weak and see you later. I'm stepping down,
Yeah.
A lot of things got hit. That was
did you get hurt?
200s is pretty crazy to me.
Did that put ratio spread hurt you then, Dan? Because it went against you?
I'm holding. Yeah, I did like the, what did I sold 2 340s. I think I bought a 330 and I made about 875 on the spread part. And then, so I'm still short for the 20th of June, the 340 put. So I was going to roll it, but I think there's been some major dark pulls hitting. So I'm thinking those are probably buys. So we might we're seeing some call action hitting pretty heavy. So I'm thinking in the next week or two, I might get a better opportunity to roll it as it comes up.
Yeah, and didn't the CEO, the new CEO, just buy some shares? Didn't he do an insider purchase?
There was a major inside buy, I believe. Yeah, actually.
Yeah,
forgot about that.
That's a good sign. That's one good sign.
And also they're denying that no one's been charged with anything. I don't think they've actually have any actual fraud charges or anything. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any of that, but
I'm sure you'll probably be able to get that at some point this year. Maybe
I'm not too worried about it. I have some shares up around 400. I'm more worried about those than the 340. I'll get out of that. I'll make money on that, no problem. But
yeah, I think that should be fine. Now here's another stock that we've been talking about.
The 400 ones. I got some shares around 395. Those might take some work, but anywho.
395. Yeah, that's up in the gap area here. No, you're above the gap. So
I'll do a coverage triangle kind of thing on it and start chiseling away at it, but it'll come back to 400 eventually.
Yeah, I think so. I think
government healthcare. I don't, they're the leader of the industry. It's
Yeah, they're
essentially
not going out of business.
no.
They're too big to fail. They're one of the leaders in insurance and health insurance for
Yeah.
I don't know how many hundreds of million Americans. So yeah, I don't think they're going to go out of business. They might get slapped with some fines if if convicted, and if they don't get convicted, hey, this thing could shoot right back up and close the gap.
Quick, yeah. I think we're going to get some bullish movement in the next few weeks on it, but we'll see. What do you think about Tesla? It's trying to roll over last couple of days.
Yeah, but yeah, it looks like it might be trying, but I don't know, man. With
Overall, pretty bullish for sure.
yeah, it's still bullish to me, I think, really. But with now the news that he's that Elon is going back, not full time, but he's back, at the helm. He's doing what they want him to do, and that's run the company. I think.
I think he's completely done with Doge.
Yeah, he's completely done.
He was going to do like a just a part-time thing there. I think he's like essentially done.
Yeah, I don't think he can. From what they were saying on the news when I was watching it this morning, they were saying that after 135 days, he has to go through all kinds of reporting requirements in order for him to stay on the payroll.
Mm.
So even if
He's not getting
paid, but he's still effectively in a role for the federal
Sure.
government. So, but
yeah, I think, yeah. Well, I think he's kind of done too they tried to vote, they're not voting out the expenses. We're just adding to our deficit still. And he, he really went there to try to help us with that. And it's, unfortunately, it doesn't look
It's a
like
battle. It's a fight he can't win.
he tried, it seemed like, but we'll see. He's kind of jumping on the same, the same deal. They think we have to grow, but we have to grow our revenue, rather than try to cut our expenses. The easiest path to resistance is just to get bigger, I guess. So
right.
But no, I'm interested in. It's just hard to find like strategies that you can actually put size into. Like I like doing the condors and I like doing some of that stuff, but it's like they're not really, to me, seem like strategies that you can really confidently put like bigger money behind. Like I've been thinking about doing some Tesla strangles. I own shares, so effectively some of it would be covered, but I've been trying to find something that I could start doing some like tasty style strangles that I don't normally do. I do them covered, but more on the naked side. I'm trying to look for a good name. Tesla I like because I don't mind owning more shares of it below 300. But
the premiums are juicy, so that's
decent. Yeah, the IVP and IVR is a little low than I like for it, but they're still pretty good. And I was looking at bar chart, and it was showing that historic vol kind of pulls back this time of year into the summer. It tends to trend down. I just don't know if it'll maintain that.
Hey guys, excuse me 1 second. You guys talk for 1 minute. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, I try to get used to doing more. I'm just not a big naked call guy. But,
yeah, me neither. Especially with the Trump coming out every other day.
Yeah, it's a hard trading environment for that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I was looking at the expected move for Tesla. I think going out to the July OPEX would be, you could get into, I think the expected move is into the 400s, down to the 300s. Even going, full, even past the, one standard deviation, you start getting even close to 2 standard deviations, it's still paying pretty damn well.
Mm-hmm.
Getting up around like 475 for like 50 days out right now. And then like down to, 300 is the expected move for, I don't know, maybe it's a 20 delta or something, but it seems pretty doable if you roll early and you don't let gamma get away from you,
Right.
Seems like, you got earnings right there too. So if you get into trouble right before, on this strangle, if you were to get in kind of a spot, if one of your sides is getting challenged, you got earnings that you could roll into to really get some space too.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I mean Tesla. There's a lot. I mean that is one you could sink your teeth into if you have some decent funds and you don't have the fear of it moving up against you because you do have some shares you can use to
if it came down to it, yeah, I would want to mentally treat it as a naked. But you know, ultimately, I'd like to hold on to my shares. Although I don't know. Depends. That's why I got off X, and it's nice not to be on there because you get so much noise, and then you can start getting influenced by other people's theses and.
Right now is a good time because you don't have earnings coming up until July, so you got a solid couple of months to trade it and not have to really worry about at least the earnings event coming up.
And like I was telling Frank and Arthur too, is like even if if one of your short strikes are getting challenged, you have the earnings that you can roll into with that extra, IV. You can roll out pretty wide and get some even more room.
Yeah, true, very true. Yep, that's one of the benefits of that high implied volatility with the earnings. Yeah, definitely. If you're in a position going against you a little bit, you can use that time to roll it as far as you can, as far away as you can to.
Now with earnings coming up though, if you were to sell, because the July OPEX is 1 week before earnings. So if you saw a strangle into that, wouldn't the IV be expanding potentially? Or I guess no, because I guess that week of earnings would be expanding, not so much the week before, huh?
The week of, yeah, more so the week of.
You'd be pretty good then. You're not going to have to worry about volatility expanding while you're short.
Yeah, I mean anything could happen, but generally it's much more pronounced on the week of the.
Sure. Of course.
Yeah, for sure. But you do have sometimes that positive drift on stocks as the anticipation of all the longs and the shorts and everybody trying to position themselves. You get that positive drift sometimes in the big names anyway, like Tesla. But
I got another one to look at, Jim.
Yeah,
how about IYR? I happened to come across this in a video today with some supporting charts, and it sounded interesting. I have not looked at it at all, but this is the housing market.
It's the real estate. Real estate. ETF. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thesis behind this one is that the prices on homes across the country is way out of whack, to the point that the inventory is growing rapidly. The mortgage rates are high and seem to be going up higher. So people aren't buying, and the thesis here is that it's due for a big fall.
I mean, yeah. I mean, this is kind of a tough one. It's been really making some pretty big swings on the chart. I don't know about the dollar value. 102 down to 90, back up to about 90, about 100.
10%.
Down to 80. It's 20% there.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's in the middle, but it's definitely making. So we can see visually, it's making lower highs.
Lower highs and lower lows.
Yeah, we're getting lower highs and lower lows. I mean, this one was a little bit of a leap up, but it never overtook this really over here. It never overtook this one. And then as we keep moving forward, we're getting lower and lower.
Where do you predict it?
That goes with what you're saying, Frank. That goes with what you're saying.
How low does that go, though? Like, I mean, what is your projection? Where is it? What number, or where you see it going?
Well, the next reasonable area to really expect would be previous lows that it just swung down to. Because if you see, every time it's swung down, it's swinging down lower and lower.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be the first swing would be to test this, and if that doesn't hold, look out, because you're going to probably get to the 70 handle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are you thinking maybe to sell some calls, cover calls, call credit spreads, or maybe buy puts?
Buy puts. I really haven't researched this. Like I said, I just heard about it today. But it sounded interesting because things are so out of whack. I love it when you've got something that's stretched beyond reality, and something's got to give. So I
Well-
like the story here.
Well, let's take a look at some home builders, because they should be affected too. Here's KBH, boom, falling out of the sky. So that's one. DHI, yeah, DR Horton, yep, they're falling out of the sky. So here's the thing, though: if these stocks are already falling so high, from let's say 200 down to 118, it's almost 50% haircut. And the IWR hasn't. I mean, it's the ETF. I would think the ETF would be as vulnerable. It's really not as bad. 103 down to 94. That's really not a lot. And it looks like the big move is already in for these home builders. XHB, that's another one. Let's look at the XHB. That's another ETF for the home builders. Even this one is down a little bit more than the IYR. This multi-topped in this area about 125, and now it's at 94. So that one's down about 25%. I don't know, Frank. Maybe it looks like the move has already happened, but I don't know why the IWR.
Yeah, you might be shorting in a hole there.
Yeah, you might be shorting in a hole. Because if I zoom out, Frank, these areas might just now start to serve as support. Like this one might not actually get touched again. This might not keep falling. It looks like the home builders have already suffered because of the fact that that's been getting priced in. Like, again, the markets are 6 months forward looking as usually or so.
Yeah.
And if that's what we're hearing in the mainstream now, the prices are already, the stocks have already priced it in, especially looking at some of these. Like, I didn't even realize how much some of these have come down already.
Mm-hmm. I didn't either.
I mean, look at that. That's a major top right there.
How's Toll doing? Let's see.
Oh, that's another one I was thinking of. Yeah, Toll. Yeah, look at this. Forget about it. Now, we were in Toll in the room. We made money on it, thank goodness. But we were in Toll in this collapse. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. We were in on this collapse, and we got out on this rally up. And then now it collapsed again. Frank, were you in Toll on that mess of a trade?
No.
Yeah. We were in. We sold puts for earnings. We sold puts for this earnings right here, and it collapsed. Look at that, boom! But we got out when it bounced up here for profit, thank goodness, and look, it went to fucking $80 a share. It went from 170 down to 87. Crazy. Yeah, I don't know.
Uzi, can you look at Apple again?
Sure. So Apple is. Let me erase all this stuff.
Trying to recover a little bit.
I still see bearishness all over this one. I don't know.
You still see bearishness, huh?
Yeah. We've really got nothing that's showing signs of it trying to break this downtrend.
And so far, it's avoided the neckline on that double top.
Yeah, I mean, I got one of my cats. Sorry, guys. He's trying to play with me as I'm trying to work here. Yeah, I mean, it's got to get above this trend line. It's got to get above this trend line. We talked about this one the other day too. This little double pump here, where it couldn't get over this trend line. If it can get over that one, first of all, it's got two trend lines to get over. It's got the first one that it's going to come to meet and greet maybe next week. If it can get over that one, it's definitely got to meet and greet this one here. And then if it can, it's got to get over the next one, which coincides right with the 200-day moving average. So I see three headwinds right away on Apple.
Gotcha. So that's basically like three fights right there. You already see like better potential fights that are going to call it. Got it.
Yeah, and it's got the government. It's got Trump on. Trump's up there, but Trump does not. He wants them to start building. I think all in America, which I don't think that's going to happen. He wants them to build in America, and didn't they just agree to stop building in China but start building in India?
We started moving equipment over there. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
they're expanding.
So I think they're not in good graces with Trump, and I don't think that's a good place to be if you're a company right now in the market.
Fair enough.
Well, I think they're between a rock and a hard place. I mean, Trump's saying he's going to hit them with a 25% tariff, but if they build the cell phones here in this country, they're going to go up to about $3,500 a pop.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
what's the winning?
that's obviously not going to happen.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's, you know, it's a lot of shit talking to get something else. So
Yeah, that's a
more
good point.
likely. I don't know what he's planning, but yeah, they'll have to. I mean, obviously, it's the big, you know, it's the biggest or second biggest company in the world now. It's
I'm not an Apple person, but if you guys are, I mean, if you guys are previous Apple buyers, whether it's Apple phones or whether it's Apple products, if the prices went up 50 to 100%, would you keep buying them? I'm just asking. Would you buy them?
I don't know.
I'm not the average person. I might, but probably not. I mean, are you just going to hold onto your phone for 10 years? You know, you might buy one, but you're not going to buy another one for a long time.
Yeah, I think that's the better answer. I don't think people are gonna go buy one every year, and it's just gonna crush their sales on how they produce new phones. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if to change Apple to Samsung. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. I'm not used to it. I probably just.
I mean, I think that once you're an Apple person and your Apple product, there is no really other way, in my opinion.
They
So
get you.
that's kind of hard, you know. I don't know. I think, like he said, people would just hold on to their phones a lot longer, or be buying used ones, and there's an oversupply of them. So I just don't feel like they would ever even let that happen, you know.
Yeah, good points. Good points. Yeah. And again, so I believe the chart is telling us that with the uncertainty of the Apple experience, whether it's the person who's not going to give up on Apple, but they might not buy up another product for a longer time, that's going to hurt their sales because Apple banks on people, on Apple, their Apple people, reloading every couple of years, and if that starts to slow down, this could see.
Well, I think the appeal of them having the latest and newest gadgets all the time, and that's what helps their sales, and that's what I mean, like right now in my cell phone, I have ChatGPT, and Apple right now has it linked up to the email. So when I get an email, I can press a button on my email that is ChatGPT, and it'll respond any way I ask it to, without having to open up another app, without not having to do anything. So when you have that tech in your hands, and then you have the latest and the greatest, I mean, it's pretty wild. And then like the eye gaze technology that's about to happen with Apple, once that really happens, the eye gaze technology, I don't know if y'all are familiar, but you won't have to touch your phone anymore. Your eyes, it's like Steve Gleason, the ALS patients, they have that eye gaze technology. Well, that is getting put into Apple iPhones, and that is going to be in everyone's hands. And, like that type of technology that's coming, you're not stopping Apple. They're going to be here forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? I remember when Apple was $5 a share, man. And I said, I don't like Apple products. I should have just bought the stock, though.
Well, and I mean that's rule number, and but you can't be emotional. A stock is a stock. It's meant for it's just. I mean, really, you can't. You can't be emotional, and everything's for sale. And
Yeah.
I treat it almost like stock A versus stock B.
Yep. You got to use them and lose them.
Yeah.
You can't marry stocks like you would marry a woman, for sure.
No, they're not your babies. Get rid of them. Make your money. Move on.
But yeah, I think this one is going to see lower prices before it starts to really break up. But again, if it gets some positive talk from Washington, if something changes in the Trump talk lingered, it could just boom. That could be the reason it gets right through the 1, 2, and gets to that third level and.
I see 215 and then I see 230 is what I'm seeing.
That's why it's a crapshoot. It really is a crapshoot. This would be at this point, I would say it's a gamble trade.
Yeah.
Until you get more information.
Agreed.
But you could trade it by selling. You could sell if you want to sell 30 to 60 day call credit spreads up in this range, because that's going to be a tough spot to get through. Not 30 days, maybe 30 days, 30 to 45 day call credit spreads. You probably get some good premium at the 22.30 level. But that's if someone wants to really kind of walk a tightrope with Apple until something
Yeah,
changes.
and that's if you have conviction and everything else and you stand behind it, or you're hoping on, or some big news is coming your way or anything like that, of course.
Yeah. I mean, 230. Yeah, it's not much premium. 230 strike on 41 days out, you're going to get about 95 bucks per call. And that's just a naked call. If you spread it, you're going to get a lot less, because
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't go that aggressive by any means. I'd probably go 210, 215, maybe something like that.
I think that the likelihood of them getting some type of positive resolution is better than not.
I agree.
And when they
especially
do
with the
get
way,
it, the temporary sentiment will pop.
I
That
have
would be
to
the
agree.
time I probably wouldn't sell spreads or any type of calls personally until there's a nice pop, and then maybe you could sell into that or something. But
Yeah, I agree, and especially since the way it's been going, not to get political, but Trump has been changing things, getting more lenient as things go further down the road. So I can see him backtracking a little bit on Apple too. But the chart says right now, stay away.
absolutely, the chart
But
looks like
money is coming in on calls, heavy money.
yeah, they had a positive Friday. I mean, they had kind
Yeah,
of.
I mean, it's not collapsing. It's just not getting any strength to get through these descending trend lines. So it's
I'm just
monkey
gonna
in
keep
the
watching
in the middle.
I mean, that's just one that I like watching closely.
Yeah, no. Listen, I'm not trying to put any negative ideas in your head. I just don't want to see you jump into something.
Well, no, that's why I asked. You still
Yeah.
see bearish, and you're not seeing bullish signs, and the chart's not lining up, and that's why I asked. You gave me all the info what I needed.
I mean, just from the technicals, it looks scary. But like they say, Trump's tweets are no. My technical analysis cannot beat a Trump tweet. So Trump, he rules the world right now, and he rules the market, and he rules charts. So he is the Trump technician.
And one thing is, I think the stock market is his scoreboard, and I think that the bottom was in. I really think April 7th that had to be the bottom. Like I could
For
be
this
wrong.
year, I would agree. Yeah,
I could be totally wrong, but if that was the bottom, where everything's in a bull market from here.
yeah. No, I could see us going much higher this year, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I think a lot of the negative news. I mean, we'll see. I think a lot of the negative news is kind of fallen by the wayside.
That's an interesting one you have on the screen right now.
Yeah, I think I saw some unusual option activity in this one. I got to look it back up. I think VZ has gotten some huge call buying going on.
Sweet.
And it's got a beautiful wedge going on right here.
Yeah, I see that. I have it in my long-term portfolio as just a dividend play. I got a pretty decent long-term in there on this.
I got to look it up, but I think I saw some big calls hit on this thing. And I mean, it is kind of a slug. Like, this has always been a slug stock. It doesn't really go up and down. But, who knows? Who knows? I mean, I don't know who they would even merge with, if they would merge with anybody, who they would buy out to make their company run more efficiently. But I mean, it's got a nice looking chart.
Well, it's a kind of a oligarchy, right? It's like there's only 3 big names in this space.
Yeah. Right.
Everybody else is just leeching off their network.
Unless they do something again. Now, I don't even know. I'm talking out of my ass. I don't know. Could they do something with Starlink? Could they do something with?
They are going to. All of them are going to end up with Starlink, but
Yeah.
T-Mobile has it now, but Verizon, I believe, and T-Mobile will be getting it later. There you go.
You'll see that.
Yeah, you have to let me know,
Yeah,
Mike.
that's right. Arthur got Starlink. He was telling me the other day.
Sweet.
even Frank's got. I mean, Arthur's got Starlink. Why not? VZ can get Starlink too.
Look, I said I want to invest in SpaceX, but you know what? I can't afford to invest in them, but I could buy their product.
But a real sweet looking wedge here, man. This looks like it wants to break out this upcoming week or two.
Yep.
I bet the options are cheap on it too.
They are.
That's the weird thing about these names. Like they don't move much, and it's like almost like Microsoft. Like the options are not expensive because the IV is always low. But but they still can have big moves every now and then.
Yeah, look at this daily when it was down to 37 and it ran all the way up to 40.
Write that on my list for next week.
That looks like a big move. It's only 10 points. But
Yeah, but if you could pick up the option for $50 or less.
I mean, the play here would maybe be to buy shares and sell covered calls because, I mean, this pays a nice dividend, like you said, and you can probably get a decent weekly covered call on it. Let's just see. Oh, up here. Yeah, it's only got like $1.50 expected move for a week out. You can get
You'd want to buy time though. This is one that you'd probably want.
Yeah.
This is more like a leap thing, maybe. I don't know.
It's paying over 6% yield dividend. That's nice. That's a nice dividend.
It's juicy.
Well, gentlemen, I got a call tonight,
Yeah.
but it's been a
I
pleasure. And great chatting with everybody. Good discussion.
Yep. Thank you,
That was
Jim.
great. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Not
Susan.
a
Take
big
care.
turnout, but
Yes.
like someone once said, build it and they will come. So we'll have more guests maybe next time, and we'll talk again, guys.
Look, I'm sharing it. I know that I wish I could. Had more of a group I could share with it, but I'm doing everything I can.
I saw you reposted it. Thank you, Arthur.
No problem.
All right.
Nice
Dan,
meeting you,
to meet
Daniel.
you.
Later, Frank.
Frank, thanks for showing up again.
Take care, guys.
Arthur, have a good one. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Definitely.
All right.
Later.
Okay, take care, guys.